Gundam.tk presents Advanced Grade Age-3 Orbital. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2 R's 2 B's from GundamReviews.net, and you can see the Age-3 normal spinning around there in high grade, not to mention the Age-2 double bullet. But as we've moved on, we had to wait a little bit for word that we would be getting a high grade Fortress and Orbital. But anyway, the advanced grades were out early, so it's time to take a look at its space wear. 2012 release. A little pricier than a regular advanced grade at 800 yen. And there's not as much as advanced grade labeling all over the place from Bandai, but you can see the name there in English and Japanese, and it's number 19 in this 1/144th scale. For a look around the box, you've got some in-game stats, and you can see that he's going to be standing up on his tiptoes, which is a trademark of the Orbital, and he's going to have these little bases to prop him up. This has been painted up by a pro, but the red and white color scheme is showing through really well. As you take a look at the back, you can see that there's going to be some hollow parts, especially there on the Sigmasis long cannon there, and it's looking alright, except you can see that there's going to be a lot of color apps that are probably not going to be there on the core fighter, and there he is, the 3rd generation pilot, Kyo Asano, he of the famous family. To the other side, rush to the supermarket and go play the game, they tell you, and over if you want to take a look at more important things, you can see the gunpla down here, that this is going to be using the block build system, which has been very fantastic throughout the whole advanced grade line. You can see all sorts of color apps, and just look at the way that you're going to layer the chest there. The shoulders are going to look good with the gray parts there on the inside of the elbows, white, lots of color apps, including in the head. This is going to look almost as good, you'd think, out of the box, as it does, well, not quite the way you see all those color apps, but it should have the majority of them right here. Inside the box for the Orbital, you're going to be getting 2 bags here with red and blue and a gauging chip, and you're also going to be getting some green, yellow, white, and gray inner frame. And remember that you've got the manual built into the box there, along with the plates list and how to order missing parts. Here you can see the A1 and the A plates, which are going to be quite a little bit different there in size, and you can see that you're going to have some massive legs, 2 sides to them over here. Looks like you are going to be able to add on a little bit of color in terms of the red feet, which should really help bring this guy to life, especially when he's up in the air with his toes pointing down. Over here you can see that you're going to have the arms, which will expose the hands, and you should see a little bit of inner frame there for the elbows. Some cool looking parts there for the chest, and that up this part here, it just has all sorts of great etching. It's a really large part, and it's a testament to how far Bandai's plastic engineering has come. We've seen this kind of face here on the Age-3s in advanced grade before. With the front part, you can see that you're going to have a big chunk there that you can put in the V-fins, and you can get the red in for the goatee and the cool green eyes. The generic Age-3 B-plate here is going to give you the core fighter / backpack there to go along with the cool looking chest, which will reveal the the very famous Age chest now to go along with that great looking V-fin there, the trim if you want to call it that, in blue. The C-plate is listed as being custom to the Orbital, though you wouldn't know it at first glance, but you can see over here with the arms that you're going to have a little part sticking out there on the arms, and you're also going to have a little bit of yellow exposed on the elbows, but it's this inner body frame that's just getting more and more detailed. Looking pretty cool here. Again, a seal there would be very nice, but it's the extra little details, like the fact that you can take that big gun, and instead of just having it one color there, you're going to have the handle there in gray. But the thing that really surprised me is that even with an advanced grade, the toes are going to point down. And the reason is that he's actually got skis of sort. So you're going to plug this in, and this is going to be what's sitting on the ground, and because of that, the legs should be actually up in the air with the toes pointed down. So if you just wanted to suspend your disbelief and not look at the bottom few millimeters, yeah, this guy's actually pulling it off, despite the fact that he's very inexpensive. Strange choices here, but you have a D1 and a D2 plate, even though they're both listed as being custom here for the Orbital. You can see the Sigmasis gun over here, which is going to be very, very hollow on the inside, so a little bit disappointing. But then again, you're always going to see it from that side anyway. Then you're going to have some other cool details, like the fact that you've got the side armors here, which are big chunks of red. You're not going to get any extra colors there, but you are going to get the red feet, which should look really, really cool when they're actually pointing down. The top of the shoes, if you want to call them that, are still going to be white, which is a nice little detail there. You can see some colors will poke through, but it's these shoulders parts, and they're going to have these huge thrusters on the back, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take these D2 parts, and these are going to provide the front of the shoulders, but unlike the Fortress, which actually has some nice yellow parts, this one is going to be pretty monocolor there. But again, that incredible part there that's going to go inside and fill up so many details in the face. The E and F plates are going to be similar to what we've seen on the other Age-3s, and you're going to have that big looking V-fin there, the cool little details that are going to bring him to life in the chest section with that yellow color there, and those familiar eyes that do such a good job by just being a little bit smaller than the sockets, so it's going to look like they have some black paint around there without the need of any extra plastic. and for your gauging chip, it's going to be number 19. When he's all put together, you can see here that the chest is going to have some nice color details there with the yellow hardly protruding, but you've still got gray, yellow, blue with the white little detail there below what should be the green to go along with the white and red and all sorts of details there, including the hips in gray around the waist. But it's this head that's absolutely mind-blowing, haha, for him. Especially when you consider the price and the complexity that you're getting here. You put the blue part into the head, that's going to go under the red part, and then when you put on this white part here, you can see that that's going to expose red in 3 different places there. And I'm also going to count it, you can call that black around the eyes there, just by having that separation there. It's going to look fantastic. And when you seal it up with this final blue part here, and here's what you're going to get, and I'd say that that is just absolutely astonishing when you consider the price and how easy it is to put together. The arms are just going to slide over top, so you're going to see a lot of gray back there until you put these covers on for the forearms, but you're also going to see some elbows, hands, and a little bit of shoulder. With these red ones looking a little bit interesting, you can see that they're supposed to be up there, although they do look a little bit hollow. Most of that will be hidden, but it's the legs that are probably the most interesting part. The legs themselves are very nondescript, but it's just the way the foot is going to fit on there. It's going to be nice and high, and then you're going to plug in this ski, which is going to allow this guy to stand at an angle. And when he's all put together, this ballerina Gundam is certainly looking colorful, and the proportions are pretty good, I'd say. Especially in the back, the core fighter is going to be oversized, but you can see that it's going to be hollow where it counts when you're looking at it from the front. These thrusters, depending on the angle, you're also going to see them, but the extra little details, like the fact that they've got red side skirts on there, to go along with those red feet that are always looking very good, and you've got these forearm colors which are going to sort of bulk them out. Red in the waist piece, and not to mention all those colors in the chest. He's certainly very unique, and he looks worthy of space battle, sort of XS style, I'd say. Weaponizing just means you're going to take this gray attachment part, attach it in somewhat at an awkward angle or so it looks like, and then you're going to plug that into the top, which is the non-hollow part. And that means with advanced grades and their well-noted lack of articulation, you can have this kind of dynamic action pose, and I suppose that's about it. Next to his red wear predecessors, you can see that he's going to absolutely tower thanks to the skis and those toes pointing down, but also just the overall bulk of the double Zeta there. You can see that Flit's Age 1 Titus is going to be looking pretty small and very non-Hulk-like in comparison. And here's Kyo's dad's Asim's double bullet, which is the red wear, I suppose, for the Age 2, and you can see that there's going to be a lot of color wraps. I'd say even more so in the double bullet, but overall you're just going to see a whole bunch of white and red, which is what you should be seeing there with the Orbital. And compared to the high-grade Age 3, whose legs are not straightened up here, you can see that the Orbital should be a lot taller, and he looks to just be a little bit more filled out with those big bulky shoulders, not to mention the larger gun there. I mean, the Age 3 normal has a pretty big gun, but without the shoulders sticking out for that extra width, you can see that the Orbital, especially in high grade, should be a pretty monstrous unicorn size on your shelf. And there is the HGUC Unicorn in Destroy mode, and you can see that even when he's hulked out on Rage, that the Orbital is just going to be a tad taller with the help of the ballerina shoes. And even though the Vegan suits have been a lot larger than the EFF suits throughout most of Gundam Age, you can see that the Giraga is actually going to lose here in advanced grade in terms of height next to Kyo's Age 3. In terms of an overall verdict, I'd say Bandai almost hit it out of the park with this one. Yes, it's going to cost a little bit more than the average advanced grade at 800 yen, but we've already seen the succession from Age 1 to Age 2, and then on to Age 3, and I think that kids who are happy with the previous ones would be happy to spend $1 more to get this one. It's just going to have all sorts of colors all over the place. I mean, look, when you're buying an advanced grade and it's going to have 6 colors in it, that's always something that's just fantastic. It's not going to have a lot of playability because of the lack of posing, but otherwise it's got a cool looking weapon, and it's got so many details built into the head, and the fact that they actually put the skis on and that they can get him up in his most famous pose means that they did everything right in my books. However, that's just my opinion, so why don't you let me know yours? Is this a kit that's actually worth importing, or is it the only a kind of thing that you'd pick up as an impulse buy in a supermarket? Would love to hear from you with a comment down below. The high grade will be coming, and of course you can check out a review of that and a comparison with this one. But in the meantime, these AGs are certainly filling the gap as we wait for the better versions. Anyway, everybody, thanks as always for watching. See you next time for lots more reviews of AG, HG, RG, MG, and everything else. See ya. Well, with your skis on, you're ready for any avalanche. Zayhart wins.